Yeah, a very warm day for everyone here. Yeah, I would like to warmly greet all of you. Yeah, for joining the session. Yeah, of the ISB webinar today. Yeah, today we are talking about the corporate innovation, another hype, or maybe it is a remedy for startup failure and hype. Yeah, nowadays people are all talking about startups, unicorn, decacorn, and etc. And you see a lot of examples, right? And then if you look at these are not really a typical type of business models. Yeah. And when we want to talk about this, of course, people are thinking about like a family-based businesses that have already been running for decades, right? So today, yeah, we are going to highlight on this area, corporate innovations. Will that become a different or not, right? Now we have a very best honored speaker, yeah, Pak Toronata Tambun, right? Now, Pak Toronata Tambun has been one of the veterans, yeah, in terms of corporate innovation. He has experiences in various countries, yeah, and then he has a 20 years experience in B2B sales and business development of oil and gas services, right? And then he has established more than 3 Norwegian-based companies, a Chinese-based company, Singapore, US for more than 11 years. And he has his education on multiple Ivy League universities, right? MIT, right? Okay, Harvard Business School, Babson College, and University of California. So we know that the speaker here is one of the most competent person to talk about this issue. So I would like to very warmly welcome Pak Toronata Tambun. Good day, Pak.
Good day, Pa Richard. Dr.
Yeah,
Richard, thank you.
yeah. Good day, Pak Toro. Yeah, I am really looking forward about your kind insight of this corporate innovation. Yeah, so without further ado, Pak, maybe you can shed a light about the topic today, Pak, to us, Pak.
Thank you, Dr. Richard, for the great opportunity to learn together with the rest of 61 audiences today. Um, the topic, uh, I found that after 8 or 9 times experimenting, creating a startup factory,
Mm-hmm.
I learned that a bitter or a brutal, honest truth that only
Brutal.
10 out of 1,000 startups are going to be successful in this country.
Oh,
And
no.
when I studied further how I come into a very strong impression that in order for them to be successful, they must link, they must have a different approach, especially in this country. What is the approach? The approach is they must be backed by corporation, because if they go alone,
I
um,
see.
uh, they will find a lot. They will find unnecessary trouble, unnecessary hiccups.
Mm,
Unnecessary meaning normally we don't find this in other country, but here is very obvious. So that's why today. But having said that, a lot
mm,
of people talk about corporate innovations. A lot
yes.
of a lot of companies establish a vice president of innovation, corporate innovation, corporate accelerator,
Yep.
but yet they don't actually produce exactly what we see the yields from other companies in other countries. So that's why I choose the topic. We choose the topic together, and because I think I3L has a very strong connection with the family of Kalbe Pharma, and the industry is similar also in the life sciences. You have a very good ecosystem supporting the school. Uh, so now I want to relate this, and I want to share with the audiences
Yes.
that this is actually the uniqueness of I3L. Not, I don't mean to promote unnecessarily, but it is actually an advantage of you if you prepare, if you plan to build build startup or entrepreneur to be
Exactly.
entrepreneur, this may be the right ecosystem for you. There is other good ecosystem that I cannot mention here, but as of today, Kalbe Pharma as a big corporation, which again has a very strong connection with I3L, can help. So that's where I want to start, Dr.
Sure.
Richard. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay, for the participant who have questions, yeah, do not hesitate to type in the question on the Q&A, then we will discuss about this along the way.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome,
So,
Ba.
yeah. Okay. So now, what is the main difference between startup? Before I speak about the corporate backed startup, I want
Yes,
to introduce the concept. What is the main difference between the startups that I'm worried about and the
exactly, Pa.
corporation, right?
Yes, people keep missing this up, yeah, Pa. Yeah. So, like this, Pa. Yeah. If you look at the current situation, like pandemic situation, okay, I am making cakes, like like a online cake store that sell bakeries. They call it a startup. And then somebody who like making clothes or making some cuisines, right? They are calling themselves a startup, right?
Mhm.
So it kind of interchangeable, but between startup and corporation. But maybe you can shed a light, but so that we
Yeah.
know about the
Okay.
differences.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So now, there are 63, 62 people now in the audiences. um, and some of you can relate to this picture. Which one, which category are you? So this entrepreneurial class, um, the entrepreneurial class or entrepreneurial course or entrepreneurial teaching has never been meant for universities to teach how to create startups. There are only 7% of the population that actually have are prone to be entrepreneur. Only 7%. So the question will be, what is happening with the rest of 93%? So the rest of 93% will enjoy also the benefit of studying entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurial teaching is not about creating startups. It is more importantly, it's about laying the foundation or amplifying or strengthening the message of making you an
Anti-fragile.
anti-fragile person, to making you a good, if you want to become researcher, you will be an entrepreneurial researcher. You don't crack under pressure. A researcher that is not waiting for jobs to be done, a researcher that always be creative enough to find ways to do experimentation, a researcher that is very honest to respect the result of experimentation. So what about you who will become not entrepreneur, not researcher, but lecturer? Yeah, then you become an entrepreneurial lecturer, not
Mm.
entrepreneur lecturer, entrepreneur lecturer. A lecturer who can work without supervision, lecturer who is who always thinks, who always finds ways to be better the next day when you come to meet your students. What about some of you want to become or are called to become an employee of a company, not necessarily a researcher? Then you become an entrepreneurial employee who do not steal money from the company, employee who respect the time that given to you, employee who work hard and work smart, employee who are loyal, smart, and honest, if possible. Employee who thinks whose minds, what keeps him awake at night is the customers for the glory of the company. So this entrepreneurial teaching is not about creating startup. So therefore, there are many people in this audience class today, and some of you are just curious about what is this. What is it to be entrepreneur? What is that? You are interested but have no driving idea or team yet. You are just exploring. You start here, but will migrate to another state or out of entrepreneurship. And then number two, some of you actually already have an idea ready to go. You are chomping at bit and just wants to help to get going, have idea, tech, core of team, but no paying customer normally. And then the next one is the ready to go level one, which is one step before this. You want to start a company, but you don't want to be a founder. You just want to join to be co-founders. And number four, some of you are actually destined to be corporate entrepreneur. You want to be an entrepreneur in an existing non-startup organization, meaning big corporation. And then some of you are destined to be entrepreneurship amplifier. You are interested in understanding enough to successfully promote in your organization. For example, you are in government, corporation, family business, but it is not but you are not directly involved in creating or venturing new company. So everyone understand who these personas, but what important again, it's about the mindset to the
I
fit
see.
solution to the paying customer. Number two the other important concept um, is again this is not about creating startup. All the I3L plan is not about you to create startup. It's about you having the entrepreneurial mindset. So
Mindset is the key
yeah,
there. I
entrepreneurial mindset.
see.
Yeah, entrepreneurial mindset,
Yeah, because
anti-corruption, no shortcut, Dr. Richard. Yeah, so those
of
are I
course.
will explore more maybe next. No shortcut mentality. Students are not crazy to be rich quickly, and then students do not think that fame is important. They want to be an entrepreneur because it is their calling from God. They know it is their calling. And to be entrepreneur is not to be rich. To be rich is not the end. It is a means to an end to be rich.
Mm,
Therefore, to be entrepreneur is not the end. To be entrepreneur is a means to an end. What is the end? The end is to create a world to be a better place to live. When people Z generation now they speak about climate change, about environmental friendly, right? Then you stand
yes.
up and say this to people who are still exploiting the earth unnecessarily. I cannot mention industry because once I mention industry, people will start calling me and say I may have a bad intent, but I don't. I'm just saying it science what the science says, and then hopefully you agree with this. And then
Mm,
the other persona again, you can be a researcher. For example, I don't know who is the Dr. Richard. You are a researcher and you stay in academia. So this is good because you want to see, because researcher, most of their challenge is they have invention, but it is not sellable. So they want to
yes.
know, oh Pak, bagaimana? How is it that my invention can be commercialized? Well, the answer is here, but people don't want to listen. So now investor, not I don't know who are coming today, but maybe your parents, maybe your friends are investors. So investor come to learn also in I3L. In this class
Yeah.
M3M, they want to learn, they want to use the skills and mindset and the community in I3L and ALB to build confidence to successfully invest in new companies uh, because investing in startup is very risky.
Yes.
Yeah, and then some of you are going to be, for example, we call in this picture turnaround artists, people who are hired to help companies to be better. And you may want to hear this class. You may want to attend this master program because this will teach you about the new concept that people don't hear in year 2000 or year 2010. And then the side hustle. They want to start knowing that starting a new venture is not the main thing, but a hobby, quote unquote, hobby that can build skills for future opportunities. And then finally, people want to study because it is very important to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Anti-fragile is the one of the main character. Okay, sorry. Okay. So now this is the goal. This is the corporation. What you see in this picture in front of you is the corporation, the big one. The corporation, the characteristic is they have paying customer, they have cash flow, they have profit. If one claims corporation but still lacking of cash flow, you may want to check their balance sheet, their income sheet, and then their cash flow. Maybe they delay their cash flow for investment. Maybe just like in the case of Amazon in the early years, right? But many startups in Indonesia, or I would say not all, but most of them, they don't have cash flow. They don't have profit. I'm not talking about. I'm referring to to a much to very glorified startups in Indonesia. They don't normally produce cash flow or profit. So
Mm.
it defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose of building business. Not only they don't have cash flow or profit, but also they don't create jobs that provide dignity, that provide proud for the employees, that provide good job strategy. Anyway, so the point of this picture is um, people, as Richard correctly says, they interchangeably use the word startup and corporation. No, entrepreneurship is not equal startup. Entrepreneurship is about, again, mindset or spirit
Mm.
that you have about willingness to be different. It's about the skill set of not only willing to be different, but being able to assemble assets and executes that bring bold new products to the right market, meaning paying customer. Ada yang beli. Percuma punya produk tapi kalau ada yang beli. And you see this many.
Yes.
So entrepreneurs, by that definition, can exist anywhere. They can exist in non-profit LSM. They can exist in government. They can exist in academia. They can exist in large corporation. One of the problem is people who have the short mindset, short time mindset. They emphasize normally people. This big company that you see in this picture, they focus on quarterly earning. They focus. They pay less attention to employee training, R&D, and other entrepreneurial strategies, which is required if they want to work smartly, but not hardly. The easiest thing to do for a big company like this is, okay, they have a lot of assets and they want to milk those assets. They want to utilize those assets. Those are easy. Anyone can do that. You work for a big corporation and then you just use their asset. Easy. No, yeah, for me it's easy. There is not so much challenge. What an entrepreneur does is they take assets and build them up, not use them up. They build them up. They use them up to build them up. So entrepreneur is not fancy of financial engineering. It's not fancy of releasing value from asset. Instead, they take assets and creating value. That's entrepreneur. So in terms of corporation, this is what they are lacking. They don't. They are so much involved in milking the assets, so much involved in engineering the financial report, releasing value from the asset, but not so much creating the value again. So we need to concerted effort to foster entrepreneurial thinking. Corporate entrepreneurship will have bigger organization. Now, this is what I don't know whether many of you come from corporation, but I would say that knowing about this for corporation is very important for you because you will become entrepreneurial to overcome the paradox that we talked about earlier on. It's not
Definitely.
easy, and a lot of resistance in the company who will be doing this. So uh, another characteristic in the yellow font is a good company already have a good value proposition. They have a use case, and then they have a very good word of mouth. It is very sad to see that startups claiming big corporation still burning money to buy customers, acquiring customers. It is okay to spend marketing for TV ads and so on. It is normal because it's one of your strategy of marketing. But if you claim that you are a big company, but you're still using other people's money to buy customers until 5, 6, 7 years, So I think personally it defeats the purpose of having a company. Your company may be valued billion and billion of dollars, but still you're still burning money to buy customers. And then this another characteristics of a good company is they have a very proper value execution of value chain, which startup do not have. Which startup unfortunately do not have.
Mm.
So what actually has then, all right? So we think like this. Startup is the white one. They just have I expect them to have paying customers. Okay. I expect them to have ideas, passion, and technology. I expect them to have operational effectiveness because that's the goal. We want to have startup who have the first beachhead 5 million US dollar, right? 5 million US dollar beachhead. Do we have that in Indonesia when they create startup? Do they have that in their mind? It's not the global term. It is surface obtainable market, $5 million. Do they have this in their mind when people meet or you are building startup, for example? Do you have this in your mind that you want to have a surface obtainable market of $5 million, or let's say $2 million, 30 billion rupiah? If you create startup which not only you don't have beachhead, but also you don't have a surface obtainable market that is enough for you to scale. So this is what we wanted to see, startup who have paying customers, but most of you do not. Most of them do not. And then we wish to see startup who have fit value proposition. And the funny thing is about this is people build startup for 4, 5, 6, say 7 months, and they claim they have a prototype. It is out of questions for people who work only for 4 to 5, 6, 7 months to have a prototype. Maybe rather than prototype, you want to call it like this. It's high level spec. This is a remote control built by a kindergarten kid. 4, 5, 6, 7 months creating a high level spec. This is what we expect, not prototyping. So you see that in your classes, in your course, teacher teach you to create prototyping. How? You don't even have money to prototype, especially in your line of industry, life science. Your industry, the minimum investment is not $5 million. The minimum investment is 10, 11, 12, 13, $20 million. How do we expect startup in your industry to have a prototype? It is impossible. And then for you to have that, you have to apply the user journey map. And then number two, there is a kid. There is a picture of kid touching his ears. Meaning, you have 2 ears for reasons. The, the reason is for us to listen to people, to listen the pains of our paying customers. When I run my class, my school, it is very frustrating for my audience. Why? Because they already have an idea that they think it will sell. They say, no, let me start my idea. No, I said no. You start crawling, please give me a matrix table of 14 probable segments of your ideas, and then I want you to have 20 ideas at least. So it means 20 times 14 probable segments. And that will take place for 1 or 2 months alone for a semester course. For a semester course, it will take mid-semester and more, just to define step 1 out of 24, right? And then I want to see startup I don't believe in startup who can create a financial projection. First of all, you don't even know who is your customer. Secondly, nobody buys your product yet. But how come you create financial projection? And why I want to believe that? I simply want to see your plan or your lifetime value versus your cost of customer acquisition. Cost of customer acquisition. If you manage to reduce it by 3, then it sounds like a plan. And then the operational excellence. I don't expect you to be able to conduct what the big company can do. But at least you can build the team. That the team is symbolized with the Mickey Mouse picture on the middle, the Mickey Mouse picture on the middle. I don't know, here or here. No. Oh, very far.
Below, Pak. Yeah,
And
below.
then
If you see it, it's on the left side, Pak.
yeah, below.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And then we expect you to be able to pitch very nicely. And then you have to have an exit strategy from day zero. Do you want to be king or do you want to be rich? And then finally, which is not final, this is the very important one. Discipline at your very best. I will explore this later, or you can see my other videos in I3L. And then very frustrating when I see a startup in Indonesia, they don't have exit plan, and their team are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but they're actually only one. So what do you mean, Pak? Three, but you have 3 people, but only one company. Yeah. So in today's societies, startups are the ones who are innovative. But startups, because of their nature, they are only attacking the low-hanging fruit, the quadrant 4. They can deal with things that take 3, 4, 5 years. Unfortunately, our real problem in the world cannot be solved for 3, 4, 5 years. Our problem on healthcare, energy, environment, these are longer-term problem. Very true, longer-term problem. So we need big companies. We need Kalbe Pharma, for example, to become more entrepreneurial to support this. Yeah. So I'm using an energy companies, energy industry, but for me, energy industry and life science are a little bit similar. Their life cycle is 11 to 12 years. So Pak Richard this message already. I distribute this message already 3 times. That life science industry startups, it is not a 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 month startups. They have to start with a very long mindset, 11 to 12 years. And who in the world can sustain for 11, 12 years? Only big companies. Therefore, this concept of corporate-backed corporation is nothing but important. It's nothing but important. So this is the if you go, for example, very idealistic life science startups, you will go to number 2 quadrant. Very hard to fund because technology risk is very high, and then the capital requirement is very high. Therefore, that's the exactly 11, 12 years. So you want to attack number 4 easily, but startups cannot then be relied to answer the world problem. I want to why when I speak about startups, I don't dream startup that looks like a platform matchmaking startups. No, I wish to see a real startup produced by I3L, the innovation-driven startups, life science-based, not just platform matchmaking. Apps. It's an apps. But I already have a startup. What is your startup? I create an apps. Oh my God. There are millions of apps in the Apple Store, but maybe only 200, less than 10,000 that is actually sellable. It's a very bad news. So, I'm using this again. When we are stuck with product, this is what happened. We are taught wrongly. Let's create prototype. And then without knowing that actually there is another 12 years between prototyping and then commercialization ready. 12 years. And then when it is commercial, we need to develop as well another 2 years before the capacity can be in full scale. And then another 5 years before the new tech capacity is in use. And then this is an example of a fossil fuel company that will replace, a company that will replace a fossil fuel company. A long life cycle. And then the attribute that is in life science industry is this complicates, very complicated like this. Meaning, Uh, if you are now in this class, welcome. Kalbe Pharma and I3L, sorry, I3L will help you to teach you differently. I don't believe that I3L will be happy to see your startups just selling fashion, baju, kue, kerupuk, keripik, and then people come to your window, so in your school to see your product. No, no. I think it's not worth it going to this school if you only produce that kind of startups. Okay. So what is the timeline that I'm talking about? This is the timeline. Therefore, the focus is not on the stage 5. The focus is in the stage 1. Stage 1 have must have the ability to deliver your stage 1, an idea for business that meets an unmet need in the market, paying customer. um, Meanwhile, a big company, they don't have this ability anymore because they are so big. They are busy with quarterly income report, dividend, and so on. So this is the message that is very famous coming from Bill Olet. So you are expected to have a spirit of a pirate, but skills of a Navy SEAL. It's not enough to, oh, I have an idea, Pak. I want to go to Vietnam to see the digital marketing. First of all, what is so special about digital? Digital is an enabler. The, the real problem is the real audience is the human and the brick and mortar. Once you establish the human, once the culture is ready, once the brick and mortar is established, transaction between supplier and buyer, the ecosystem is there, then your digital can help to enable. But don't come with, oh, digital will come to Vietnam. And it's very difficult to imagine that everybody now use the word digital as if digital saved the world. Until today, I live in the central Jakarta. My internet also is up and down until today. So stop talking about digital. It's more important to talk about changing culture, changing mindset, and running the business, the brick and mortar business, to make sure that there is a buyer and a seller. And when you need to scale, digital may help. When you need to be efficient, digital may help. Okay, so um, we have gone through this earlier on with efficiently with this slide. I'm happy that I have defined this, and I want to go to this picture what you didn't see earlier on about value chain. So a big company are very good in running this. They have an established department which startup wish to have on its early days. But startup cannot have this. Your startup do not have enough resources or enough money or enough capital to have a very efficient inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing, and sales team. Startup is comprised of 3 people and plus certain earlier employee. That's what you have. And then 1 people will run as a logistic operation sales. And 1 people will run as a CTO, technology development, and then procurement, for example. You don't have luxury to live like a big company who have already an established value chain system like this. But this is the dream. So you have question, Pak Richard?
Okay, Pak. I am wondering, but what's in it for startup but to be friendly with corporation? Because just now I see, Pak, you are dividing into 3: paying customer, adaptation, technology, operational efficiency, effectiveness. It seems to be too far-fetched, Pak. Then what's in it, Pak, for startup to be friendly with corporation, and what's in it for corporation to embrace startup, Pak?
Wow,
Because what I see is, yeah, they are not really compatible, Pak, if I would say, Pak. So maybe
yeah.
you can enlighten
Yes.
this part, Pak.
Blame me for not becoming so clear. They are very incompatible. That's why they need each other. If I may answer you like
Oh,
that, I will start with that. But let me thank you. Very good question,
mhm.
Pa Richard. As always, very intriguing
Thank you,
question.
Pak.
Yeah. So this what's in it for me? What's in it for startup? For startup, sorry, what now this one is not this not about startup. This is what's in it for big corporation. Big corporation, as you see, they are in stage 5. They don't have the ability to do
Yes.
stage 1. That's why they want to close the innovation gap. The objective is for them to search ideas fall outside the scope of the existing business units. A big company, they are focused so much on performance engine, which is delivering revenue, delivering KPI, delivering efficiencies, but they don't have a big picture of what's happening outside their core business. Meanwhile, the disruption, as Clayton Christensen
Yes.
always say, starting from the non-consuming customer, non-consuming market.
Yes.
So so companies cry out for, oh, I need to close the innovation gap. So they need startup. Secondly, I want the company also plan to expand new market, but it is very dangerous for a company to just open a branch, open enter and another enter new countries and so on. That rather wish to have the ability of agile, being agile, which belong to startups. That's why they wish the startup model can minimize the risk in them expanding the new market. Thirdly, corporation wish to have a platform growth. They want to grow, and this they cannot do it alone because then they are big. It's a curse. They are becoming big. It's a curse for them, but it's a blessing too. But in terms of innovation and becoming sustainable, no, it's a curse being big. They wish to accelerate growth of one or both sides of a platform owned by the corporation. Therefore, they need to see a startups layer by layer in order to introduce new product that is in line with their plan. And then corporation also wish to transform corporate culture. And Dr. Richard, you know very well about the corporate how difficult it is to change the culture in the corporation.
That's right, but because it involves hundreds of
Very
people that
difficult.
have been running for a long time, right?
Yes.
I mean, like if you
Yes.
introduce disruption,
Yeah.
that means like you will have more risk, than the curiosity or the propensity to explore new ideas, and they don't know the benefit yet, so they sometimes do
Yes.
not
Very
dare to make
difficult.
this move because it's too risky for the company, right?
Too risky. And then people
Yes,
who are getting paid every month, why I have to have this new job finding swimming in the blue ocean, swimming in the
yes,
uncharted territory, right? That's why corporation they wish to see innovation that will create an inside out options developed by employees where their inspire where their innovative thinking can be appreciated, because there is always 7% among the employees who have actually this attitude of risk taking and failures. Therefore, big corporation needs startup model. And then number 5, they because they are becoming big, it's very difficult for them because of their structure that they create. Very difficult to attract and retain good talent. So they wish to see bridges between corporation and startups, because they think that if we have the bridge between corporation and startup, then we can engage a good talent from the startup company. Either the founders can be the CEO of a new business unit, both internally and externally. That's the model. And then to answer, so this is the what's in it for corporation. What about what's in it for startups? Sorry. What about what's in it for startups? You see also, yeah, what about what's in it for startups? For startups, as I explained with my Venn diagram, startup wish to have access to resources. They don't have access to resources. They wish to have that. The goal is for them to have the assets in control of the new startups. Assets like, oh, I don't have money to say to start selling. If they live with corporation, then the corporation will already have a sales force. Oh, I don't have money. I don't have enough R&D facilities. But if the startup live with the company who have R&D facilities, then the asset can be complemented to what they need, and so on. And then number 2, startup needs to increase credibility. Startup out of nowhere will face more difficulties in promoting themselves compared with startup who are actually backed up by corporation. Because for example, Richard company supported or funded by I3L, it will be more visible and more credible,
Mm.
right? And then startup wish to have access to markets. Startup out of nowhere, small company, they said I want to expand in West Java. Well, how? How a small company with no money, with only 10 billion rupiah money can go to West Java, Central Java, East Java, or even most of them say, oh, I want to occupy Indonesia. No. But if they live with corporation, then the corporation who have branches in all over the countries, who have already geographical feasibilities, clients, and new and channel marketing channel, they will be able to leverage the needs for startup to have access to market. And then finally, if startups live together with corporation in 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 a in a relationship that we will discuss maybe next month, then it will be much more credible. It will create more credibility to get fund also. Because, oh, for example, Richard company is backed up by I3L. I3L is very famous in Europe, for example. And okay, so this is I3L company. Then investor in Europe will
Yes.
be eager to invest more. Or yeah, that's just an example, not exaggerating. It's happening.
Mm.
So
But I would
uh,
like to add also, yeah, Pak Toro,
yeah,
yeah.
Pak. Yeah.
So when I mean, like when you see this corporation and startup, what I can see from your slide, right? They could eventually be mutualistically symbiotic, Pak, yeah. So they can
Certainly.
benefit each other even if they do not come from the same entity. But this is what I noticed, right?
Yeah.
It's like they are mutually benefit each other, but to be honest, Pak, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, at least in Indonesia, I do not see this much, Pak.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Pak?
No, no, no. You are very right. Meaning, yes, yes, yes. You are very right. It's not happening here. It's not happening here. What I see is okay. A corporation must support startup. Then what they do is they spare CSR money for startup.
That's right, Pak. Yes, and then also, Pak, and then also, a lot of corporation also consider startup as their um future enemy. Oh, if I'm going to nurture you when you become big, you will eat me. It's like I am um I am keeping a snake. When the snake is big enough, you will eat me alive. So I will not really fully help you. I am just seeing you as like a potential benefit in certain areas, but that's it. I will draw the line. If you want to step further than this, right? We need to have some agreement that binds. For
Okay.
example, Pak.
Yes. Even though many of them actually intentionally create startups to be what do you call this, vaccine. So they create startups. They involve in startup outside their company as
Mhm.
a vaccine, exactly to attack them. So they want to be attacked in controlled manner. That's why they like to create
Attack
to
and
be involved
control.
to be involved in startup creation outside the company because as you said, as you point out correctly, they will eventually attack you. So instead
That's
of
right.
attacking wildly, you want to make sure that they attack you in a controlled manner, meaning you already predict how they want to attack, right? And then
Hmm.
I have to also revise my statement about corporation. Many big corporation, I will not mention name, they are involved in investing in startup, not only CSR but corporate venture capital. I will say that. Okay, but unfortunately, what I see is it is valuation driven. Valuation driven. It is not
Hmm.
they create startups to support their core business. They buy in startup to support their existing performance engine. Now, I also have to revise that many new companies who are big, they like to buy startups or they like to invest in startups who are in line with their business. It
Hmm.
happens to a newer companies,
Right, right, right.
but not in the older companies who are already public. The public company
I
normally they
see.
go with their corporate venture capital to invest to make profit out of the growth of the startup, but not necessarily
I
to
see.
answer this picture of what I say here, that they wish to have, they need to have answer, like for example, answer for their efficiency, but they wish startup answer them, but they don't find. So they have pain, and their R&D, for example, are lagging 5 years. But if they rely on startup, startup can produce in 1 year. So they have pain, but if there is no startup, then they are stuck with 5 7 years. So if you see this picture, why I portray this picture, this is my thesis.
Hmm.
It's a mutual benefit. What do you say? Symbiotic
Yeah, mutualistic
coalition. Mutual
symbiosis.
symbolism. Yeah. So you see the startups pain and the corporation pain, and they all complementing each other. They all have pain.
Hmm.
That's why they need to have each other. But many people don't know. They don't. They neglect this. In, Instead of combining, working together, startup goes alone with the dream to have people invest in them $500,000, $700,000, even $100,000. And this, in these founders, they will they will run victory leap when they have $500,000 investment, as if that's the end of their success. And for me, it shows a negative effect of, or the exact effect of glorifying a short term result. As I said, life science business requires a 7 to 12 years horizon mindset. Now, again, another picture. The other aspect of my busy picture here is from I3L. I3L will create from your company, the school, $2 to $5 million surface obtainable market startups, symbolized by two girls who is actually dreaming and then eventually crying. And once the corporation invests, when the investor invests in the startups, then the startup will go either to industry specific accelerator, or they will go to capstone pilot lab. For example, after people invest in I3L startup, the I3L startup will go and pay the I3L lab. Number three, the startup will go to early stage incubator. For example, Kalbe Pharma will have this, or perhaps the late stage incubator in Kalbe Pharma. For example, I'm just
Hmm.
mentioning. So that's the idea of this model. Okay, this the idea of this model. So allow me to get input from maybe from 10 people from the audience, and please write in the chat what is the answer for this question. What is the singular, necessary, and sufficient condition to have a company?
Yeah.
Are they allowed to write in the chat?
Yes, but yes. Okay. For participants, yeah, we have watching all of the talks, yeah, about this corporate innovation versus the startup and etc. Yeah, feel free to write your comment and question answers. Yeah, right on the Q&A. Q&A column. Yeah, type your question and answers. Yes, just now also, like, even I myself find this a very intriguing, and of course, along the way, I have a lot of questions to answer because, to be honest, but I mean, like, I stay in mostly Asian countries, right? It is pretty dominated by family corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the model that you showed, yeah, is a very new, yeah, very disruptive, which I can safely say is not really commonly practiced.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
even in Asia, but yeah, even in Asia, like, they're okay. What you are doing? Are you trying to steal my company from me? That's why I am seeing this model. But from what you showed just before this slide, yeah, we can see that we can construct the complementary scheme that benefit both, right? Both the corporation, for example, you close the innovation gap, right? Because company have a lot of hassles to do, matching KPI, closing the financial plan, and etc. Right? So they need someone to close the innovation gap, to expand to new markets, to do the platform growth, to transform the culture, and then at the same time, the startup need access to resources, like what you said, right? You cannot, like, life science, you need like at least $10 million. Of course, they need as a resource, and then they are new. They do not have any credibility. Nobody knows them, right? And then how they access to the market? We are somebody new, So
Yeah.
this model is really really complementary. But I mean, like, in this session, I myself would really much interested to see. And Pak, while waiting for us to collect the question and answer, Pak,
Do we
how
have
about
do we have answer from them? Do we have answer from them? Do they answer this question? Who is
Miftahul?
Miftahul Jana?
Yeah, Miftahul is answering a paying customer for your question, Pak.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is only one people answer this question.
yes, I think
Well,
they
anyway,
are
Miftahul
to
Jana.
yeah, Miftahul. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, the answer is 100% correct. It's not market. It's not customer. It is paying customer. So this message I want people to hear very bluntly. I want to say this: if you create startups, good ideas here and there, but no paying customers, then forget about it. Pivot. Paying customers.
Yes.
You have to have paying customers before you continue your ideas. Paying customers. And how you define paying customers? Listening to your paying customers. Interview them. Lift them. Make them. Uh, it is them who keeps you awake at night. It is not your idea. How many companies die quickly because their product is stuck in their warehouse? So start with paying customers. Miftahul Jannah. Congratulations. Congratulations. So I will continue, Pak Richard. Yeah,
Yes, Pak.
yeah. I will
Yes, Pak. Please
continue
go ahead.
again. I will continue. Okay, now we have the paying customers. We have all the of the we have the company listening to customers, but then why still fail? Why corporation do not will not see the result of the startups? Because oh sorry, I have not moved my slides. Because of this, 60 entrepreneurship is not a solo part. So many of you now it's growing to 70, 75 people. I have an idea, pa. I want to create a startup. Only one of you. You have you have knowledge and skill. Your team have the complementing skill, but then you don't work together as a team. 65%, 65% reasons, 65% startup failures are caused by a poor performance of the team. They fight too quickly. They fight too longly. They don't. The storming process takes too long. So team is also important. And who are you? What kind of people that can join this movement? Later on the second module, I will share what kind of companies who can join this movement. Now in this the end of the first module, I will introduce what kind of team. Okay, we expect to have a 3% team. We expect to have 3% team. The hacker, hustler, hipster. It is true that a team must contain diverse and unique expert. But that's not all. We must also emphasize on the inclusion of every unique power in the team. So this diagram later on will reflect this concept. They must have three things: complementing skills, complementing network, but same objective. Complementing skills, complementing networks, same objective. I will repeat again. The team must have complementing skills, complementing networks, and then same objective. If the team is so homogeneous, then you may forget also about that. So what do you mean, Pa? So I don't think a team comprised of three people from the same major in I3L can be a successful startup. But if one people come from biomedicine, another one come from, let's say, biomanagement or whatever it is, and the other one is come from IT or biomedic or other department, then it can be potentially successful. Homogeneous is very dangerous. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we want to aim a heterogeneous team plus the inclusion. This the Mickey Mouse. We are going to find soon the Mickey Mouse. How to achieve that? How to achieve that? We must have a startup who welcome diversity, who provide a fearless psychologically environment and provide the allowance to let the team express their thoughts and feeling. meaning there is no such stupid thing in team. You learn this from design thinking. So not only you must learn, but also you must apply. So this is where exactly you need to apply the most the design thinking when you run. Never kill an idea, even it may sound BS. Okay. So what about if we see this phenomena? What about if you see this phenomena? One, so
Mhm.
we don't want to see we don't want to see red, yellow, and green team. There is no connection. They're all thinking, but they don't have. Well, what about Pak? We have three people, Pak. Very similar, Pak. See this lah. Very similar. Basta, one team, Pak. Very good. They're very good, Pak. Very homogeneous. Very good, Pak. Eh? And it's only one circle. There is no value in there. There is no value. So you don't want to have that 3% team similar. Instead, you want to have this. Is it? Do we want to have this? What do you think? 3% team difference. You like this? No, I don't think so. Why? Because of this. If you only have the intersection among three, then you have this very limited intersection, common information effect, very little. But you want to aim is this. This is what you want to aim. You want to aim this. You want to aim this. You want to glorify this. The diversity. The more the bigger the difference, the better for the team. Complementing skills, complementing network, but the same objective. Now, what is objective, Pak? Objective is your raison d'être. Raison d'être. Why you are here? Why you are here on earth? Why you are creating startups? You must have that similar raison d'être. And normally, startups shall not have being rich is one of the raison d'être. That's already a sign of tell for failure. If I can express. So coming back to this picture, yes. So you are in the early stage. Startups in early stage. They wish to grow to stage 5, but come on, you are in stage 1. So live in stage 1 until you are mature enough to go to stage 2. And then corporation will help the people in stage 1 to grow into step 2. That's the role of corporation. The role of corporation. This is the deal that you want from small startups. You want to become a big company. Remember this, where you have a positive cash flow, fit solution to customers, and then sorry, you want to have this, which is actually an overlap between customers and company. You have the sweet spot between company and customers, which is the rather green yellow color. You want to focus on that. Don't bother about competitor, meaning the competitor is always there. So when I say don't bother, meaning do not focus so much on them. Instead, focus so much on what you can do in the sweet spot between the company and the customers, the area. No, I cannot show you. The area there between customers and the company, that's the sweet spot. Okay? So an interesting statistic is this. Military history is saying that 3.6% victory is won by small unconventional army. Small army unconventional. 63.6%. Right? So I have a question from one of my class. Opa, I heard that now actually the big company win the game. But then my answer to him is, yes, the big company who make the most of the 63.6% of the smaller agile startups. They embrace the startup. They create the antivirus. They create the immunity from the startups. They are not anti-startups. So now this is my last slide for the first module, I think. Yes. Pak Richard,
Yes,
it's not for you. It's actually for the students.
sure, Pak.
Which one is easier then?
Okay.
Which one is easier? To create
Yeah.
startups or from scratch or to use this methodology, corporation and startup together?
Okay. Yeah. So for you who are interested to answer, yeah, same way you can write down to the question and answers. Yeah. If you want to ask my personal, okay, I'll keep that first until somebody answer, because when I answer, you'll be biased towards the the participant, right,
Yeah,
Pak? So
yeah,
I will
yeah.
like to see your participations. Yeah, on the topic which is very interesting right now. Since like like Indonesia is a lot of people are so into the thing about the startup. Yeah, but I mean like for what insight that Pak Toro have offered during this seminar, yeah, it is very powerful. It's indeed very powerful, and we may know a few mindsets, few skills. For example, like what I see, skill of the pirate, skill of the pirate,
Pirate. No, spirit of a
spirit of the
pirate,
pirate, skill of a
skills of a
navy.
Navy SEALs. Yeah.
Yes.
So what is the answer? Anybody answer this question? Which one is easier then? After all 1 hour and more, or 1 hour exactly. I explain around 1 hour. Which one is easier then? So I tend to say let's do the corporate back startup. Is it easier than creating a startups? No, nobody answers. Miftahful Jannah. I think it's easier to do corporation. Interesting. I like to have hear different. I like to hear a different opinion. Which one is here? Corporate back startups or startups? Based on this picture alone. Okay, allow me to answer. There is no right or wrong questions, right? But for me, when I see a clean slate on the startup on the clean slate, it's much easier for me to draw anything I like. For me, but if I need to continue what the original painter started, it is for me, it's more difficult because I don't know him. I don't know what he wished to do with this picture of maybe Napoleon Bonaparte or brothers. So, in reality, it is easier said than done. Not easy to create a corporate back startup. Not easy, and mostly I will explain later why. Why it's not easy. It is not easy. So Pak, jadi enggak yang satu enggak enggak easy, yang satu easy tapi enggak easy. So which one? There is no right or wrong. But depending on the goal, we know that corporate back will be more useful than just a startup in this country. But it is not easy. And there is no word easy in adult life. So that's my message. Yes, the answer is I rather go for corporate back startups, but it is not a toll road. It is not easy. Far from easy. Create a startup is easy, but then to sustain a good startup is not easy. To create a startup, you have an idea, you start, but no paying customers, no fit solution, and then you cannot perform. Okay?
I
Um,
see, Pak. I mean, like, if you want to ask my opinion, I see something else, Pak.
okay.
If you don't mind to hear. So I mean, like when I see the pictures, but startup looks like a clean slate, but so
Yeah.
that means that you have the all of the creativity, you have all of the unconfined
Hang on.
idea to draw whatever you want.
Yes, yes, that's
Whether,
the
yeah,
that's startup nature. So
yes,
it is just among those three founders, co-founder, hacker, hipster, hustler. But when you do with corporation, you involve a big corporation,
yes,
you know,
yes,
and
Pak.
a lot of people will
Yes, Pak.
scrutinize you. You cannot do this. As a startup, it's very crazy. It's very
Yes, Pak. That's
interesting.
why,
Yeah.
yeah, Pak.
So allow me to prepare the slide before I will share my video for a while. Give me
Yeah,
two
sure,
minutes.
Pak.
I'll be back. 1 minute actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean like while waiting for Pak Toro, so what I can see participants here from the one on the left, startup, you do not see any pictures. It's a clean slate. So you can draw anything that you want. You can draw sceneries, you can draw cities, you can draw forests, you can draw people, and etc. You have the right to choose whether they are simple or they are complicated. It's up to you. But when you are on the corporation side, you can see that the sketch is already there. You must follow. I am drawing a person. You must color it. Yes, you do not need to be creative because the pictures are already there. But you must follow. You must follow, and then you need to have this rule to color. Yes. So this is what I can see from the pictures. Yeah, they are plus and minus, but I mean, like, yeah, like what you said, they are no right or wrong. Yeah, but I mean, like, each side have their advantage and disadvantage.
Yes. But I prefer the corporate backed startups, even though I must give people a discretionary note. It's also not easy. It's even more difficult. But at least it minimizes the risk of failure. So that I can guarantee. It minimizes the risk of a company, increase the chance of success of startups. But it's not easy. And by the way, there is no easy in adult life. So I'm ready for the next module, which is this one. Who may be suitable to embrace corporate entrepreneurship? Not every company. Rightly, I understand your worried, your concern, Dr. Richard, when you say
Mhm.
a lot of company in Asia are family-based business. Exactly that. Are they suitable? You know, you will be surprised after I share my learning together. Shall
Oh,
I
really?
continue?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay, see, I
I,
prepare in one computer, but I have not prepared my other computer, so bear with me. Oh my God. So by the way, Pa,
mhm.
I allow people to have question. I saw people raising hands. If they want, if I can give them, and we can give them, we can provide them answer
Sure.
if
Yeah,
it's not
okay.
too long.
For those of you who raise hands, so you can, yeah, what you can do is you can type in the question and answers, and then I will discuss it, yeah, in the forum, and I will let Pak Toro to answer the questions. Just now we see some people asking questions. Yeah. So currently, yeah, the question and answer are not, yeah, the one that's active only Miftahul, yeah, the rest, yeah,
Miftahul.
I'm really,
Is Miftahul Jana from Paragon? Is he from Paragon? Can he answer?
I think she's MBM student,
Really?
I think.
Okay. Congratulations. I like to know him. Please
Her, her, Pak,
connect with
her.
her.
Yes.
Oh, Miftahul from MBM. Wow, Miftahul, congratulations. Yeah, yeah, please kindly connect me in my LinkedIn. So thank you, Miftahul. I think I know her already because I remember I mistakenly calling her with him. Okay. So I'm sorry. Now I know she's here. So I'm glad to be with you, Miss Jana. Yeah, I remember. I spoke with you
Mm.
earlier on because Jana means heaven. So anyway, let me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now I remember. So yes, Miss Jana, thank you so much for your support. Okay. Now, by now, I will start again with my thesis here. That yes, there is an organic need for corporation to live together with startups, an organic need for startup to live together with corporation. Why? Because the creation of startup in Indonesia is not reliable. What can I say? There is no entrepreneurship factory, pabrik penciptaan entrepreneur. In Indonesia do not have. Curriculum also need a lot of revision. You know, why? Because yeah, we need another webinar to run to this or workshop or train the trainer to do this. But if you see on the very left column, second row, I give an indication of what kind of corporation who can embrace this. My argument is what kind of corporation that can embrace this, right? What kind of corporation that can embrace this? So my argument is it's very often that people say we need to set up an innovation lab to show that we are trying to be innovative, and then dumb within 1, 2, 3 months the innovation lab happens. But very often we see 6 months later innovation lab is empty. Do you find this familiar? The first floor of your school, I remember it is empty. Even it's only containing a few things. So this is not only one company experience this. A lot of people who are experiencing hype in innovation, they experience this. Right. So this is not new. This is not like a mock, mengejek, bukan. This is just a fact. Because not every company can do this corporation backed startups. So I propose that there are four types, and those four must exist. Number one, the company must be disrupted or potentially disrupted deadly. Kalau nggak berubah, mati. and they must be heavily disrupted basically. Number one, must be there. And number two, the CEO of the company must be innovative. And the CEO must be innovative. And the CEO must be innovative, meaning the CEO is not stuck with only delivering the OKR or KPI of share price, of efficiency. No, innovative meaning him or she must be willing to invest money, to use money to create innovation. The CEO must be innovative, number two. Number three, yes, they are disrupted, but they are still in high performance. They still deliver their company very well. Number three. So a company who are disrupted, innovative, but already almost bankrupt, they cannot join this movement. So three must exist. And number four, Pak Richard, this is answer your concern.
Yes.
It must be CEO owned. Family business or culturally ready. I will not, as I promised yesterday, I will not mention name of the company, but it must be CEO owned. So which company are CEO owned? It's a family business, but the family business, the family who is the CEO must also be very innovative, and his or her company must still be delivering high performance and experiencing disruption badly. So those are my four criteria. So I will explain one by one and finish this meeting and continue next month. Those who are heavily disrupted yet high performing still. Okay? Does it matter? Does it matter for a company? The average lifespan of a company listed in the Standard & Poor 500 index of leading US companies has decreased by more than 50 years in the last century, from 67 years in the 20s to just 15 years today. I hope this sentence makes sense to the reader. So dulu 67 tahun, sekarang cuma 15 tahun. The average lifespan. Dulu umurnya 67 tahun baru mati, sekarang 15 tahun udah mati. Bahkan mungkin tahun 2000 berapa nih? Tahun 2021 is even quicker. Meaning the change is very heavy. Number two category, those who embrace innovation. The CEO must be innovative. The CEO must be innovative. For example, DuPont. DuPont started as a nylon and stockings and riots company. But now, who's DuPont? Wow. DuPont is a very famous company for the high tech, but it starts with a nylon company. So this company also, before they famous as a public, they belong to family Pak Richard. So the DNA is there to be innovative, from nylon stocking company to become whatever it is now, DuPont. And number two, Eli Lilly company, in your industry. Start from random drug discovery. Now they are in genetics and genomics business. Nokia. Whoever thought Nokia was a rubber boots company, and then they become cell phones company. Now they're gone, but their IP is still everywhere. And maybe they will come back again. Corning Glass. Our parents. I remember I saw my parents China ware is made by Corning Glass, but now they are no longer cookware company. They are optical fiber to displays company. And by the way, Pak Richard, all of these are start as a family business.
I see.
But they are very innovative. So the DNA of innovation must be there. So none of these actually are what we call in my picture apa itu broker, rent seeker. None of these are rent seeker. These are from the day one are innovative company. Okay.
Oh.
And having said that, innovation also can destroy firms among them. For example, a company called Cobuilt they have a technology called copper. But then there is a new company called Casper. It kills the cobalt because Casper comes with a product called proximity. And then Canon bring efficiency on proximity. They kill Casper. The Canon will innovate scanner and SNR, but Casper dead already. Cobalt was dead already. Another company, Elmer, come with the better technology on scanner. They don't kill Canon, but Canon product is less than Elmer, and then PO Elmer grows or introduce a new much better SNR product. And then finally the company called GCA, they occupy the latest SNR technology, whereas Cobalt is dead. Casper only plays a minor role in the SNR business. Canon also play minor role. So meaning, you want to wait? Yeah, you want to wait. Wait is not a game, because when you wait, this is what happens. People will keep finding new things. This happens in the share of sales of photolithographic alignment equipment. Study of 24 years study by generation. This is an interesting number. So if a family business say, don't worry lah, stay here lah, I already produce money. Well, welcome to the for the failure. Welcome to the failure. Normally, in my normal class, I will go into disruptive innovation framework, which will take another 1.5 month. But this time, I will not discuss about that. So you see that the technology from contact goes to proximity, goes to scanner, goes to SNR. Every time there is a new technology, whoever the leader on the last one become the second player. See, Cobalt become even not a player anymore after Casper comes, right? It is not an advantage to be the leader in the previous technology, unless you have an understanding that you are paranoid, you know things are going to change and plan on what to do about that. So buat big company yang merasa, gue udah cukup besar, dangerous. Look at the number. This picture explain that every time there is a new technology, then welcome. The older one will become the second player or even now nobody. So apa tu namanya? Complacency is not in the dictionary of in the business, ya Pak Richard, ya.
Yes, complacency kills nowadays.
Yeah.
When all technologies, information action are very fast and people are getting more and more educated. Disruption will be more and more frequent. And like you rightfully pointed out, like from 67 years to become 15 years, I suspect that number will even be much shorter nowadays.
Yeah. Okay, so this picture has a story of a big corporation that actually disregard or do not respect startup. They think startup is useless. Well, who's startup? I don't need them. We are big. So let me tell you this story. How smart people overestimate their level of control, or how big company overestimate their dominance in the industry. There was once a guy named Ferruccio on the left, right? He can fix anything. After World War II, he could turn almost any war machine to farming equipment. And then eventually he started his own tractor company. That's why there is a picture of tractor there. The takeaway is that successful people and companies overestimate their own control and command of their market. This is the key. Why is the story is here. And then there is the guy on the right. I put the name. His name is Enzo Ferrari. Guess, of course, you know who is Enzo Ferrari. He is the owner or the founder of Ferrari car. Enzo Ferrari wasn't the first market leader to dismiss an innovative idea presented to him. So this Ferruccio guy comes to see Ferrari, Mr. Ferrari, and say, I have this new car product which is going to help you, can help Ferrari getting better product. But then Ferrari said, who are you? You are just a tractor maker, right? And then the next thing that we know is this guy Ferruccio is very angry, and then he starts his own company, Enzo do not look highly on Ferruccio. You know the last name of Ferruccio, Pa Richard?
Bentley.
Lamborghini.
Oh, Lamborghini. Yes, yes. Sorry, I just look at the symbol of the car.
Yeah. So it's a Lamborghini, right? So imagine Ferrari work together with Lamborghini, different story. But Ferrari undermine Ferruccio, then what happened is Lamborghini is born. So big corporations shall not look down on startup. An example of an example of company who miss opportunities. Thomas Edison, he is the market leader in England, right? Alexander Graham Bell, people say, idiot. Why would any person want to use this ungainly and impractical device? When telephone comes, this is the comment, idiotic. When Thomas Edison created the light bulb, people around him say, it's not unworthy of the attention. There is no scientific man would like to pay attention to the electric bulb at that time. So meaning corporation also do not, when they don't take seriously the startups, this is dangerous. Walt Disney, people say, Walt Disney from Kansas City. They are lacking of imagination, had no good ideas. When Kodak introduced digital photography, when photography come, Kodak says, sorry, I should say that the Kodak says toward digital photography. It's not important. And what happened is, bankrupt. Sorry, in Walt Disney, the people in Kansas City say it's lack of imagination. Alexander Graham Bell, the Western Union say idiotic. Thomas Edison, the England people say unworthy. When Steve Wozniak find a computer idea, HP rejected him 3 times. When Atari didn't want to buy Apple's share, even though they could have owned 33% of Apple share for $50,000 per Richard. But Atari didn't. Yes, can you imagine? 1/3 of Apple's share,
Yes.
very cheap now. But
Now skyrocket already.
yeah, but that's showing the irony of when big company do not take cheap startups seriously. EDS was offered $60 million to buy totally Microsoft, but they didn't buy. Look at Microsoft now, one of the richest company. A company called Excite, they were offered Google for $1 million, but they didn't buy. Look at Google where it is now and look at Excite. MySpace, they were offered $75 million to buy Facebook, but they didn't say so. They didn't want to do so. Yahoo could have owned Facebook for $18 million. Britannica Encyclopedia, if you remember, they rejected Bill Gates. They could have been Wikipedia, but instead, where is Britannica now? Blockbuster, the one that was disrupted in a way by Netflix, they had chances to buy at $50 million 3 times, but they didn't buy. A company called me, during my corporate life, I should have bought Amazon, but we didn't buy Amazon. Okay, so I don't know what Kalbe Pharma. Okay, so interesting. I keep why I mention this. This is just to highlight that not every company can do this. But if they don't do this, this is what happened. You don't want to join the club like Levi's. Where is Levi's now? It's no longer much in demand. Kodak, where is Kodak? Express, Zenith, U.S. Post Office, General Electric, General Motors, BNL, glasses. You used to be very proud of wearing BNL, pa. Now, where is BNL? DEC. Wow, DEC, one of the earlier pioneer the Silicon Valley. Where is DEC? Motorola, Times Magazine, Matahari, Philips, U.S. Steel, and Polaroid. Yeah. Where are they now? You don't want to join this club. You don't want to join this club. And then the third component is the CEO must be entrepreneurial and innovative. If the CEO is only concerned about KPI, revenue driven, performance, efficiency, then this company cannot join this corporate entrepreneur movement. We need to have a CEO who manage, who have the capability to see long enough horizon, spirit of a pirate, and then yet discipline, skills of a Navy SEAL. Again, this picture comes during my second slide, how important this is. You people who have a spirit of pirate is not enough. You also need to have a skills of a Navy SEAL. But people who have skills of a Navy SEAL, like researcher, engineer, they are lacking of spirit of a pirate. So these two must be combined. Does it sound too theoretical? No, this is real. So this picture actually for present organization, financial model is necessary, but only the 100% real one. There is no right model. The reality is the right one. Okay. People have been saying this for years. The problem with too many MBAs is you end up with armies of people that can paint by numbers, whereby you end up with lots of cookie cutter pretty pictures, but rarely do you get a work of art.
Yes, just like the pictures that you showed me, Pak. So the sketch is already there. So but people are only coloring it differently, Pak. But they
Differently,
have the
yeah.
sketch of people, Pak.
Yes, you're right.
Yes,
So
rather than the clean slate where people can draw anything.
yeah, but remember, MBA is not on the clean slate. MBA is in the corporation. So
Mm,
now people who studies only because they don't have creativity, they will focus on input and output rather than innovate and outcome. So this is like, okay, now Toro and Richard says we want to join the 3L MBM, but then we guarantee you, not guarantee, but they will strive at reasonable effort so that you also, you become disciplined, yet you must be creative, innovative, and focus on outcome, not only input and output. Management and scorecards, but you don't want to focus on management and scorecards, but you want to focus on leadership and amazing products. For example, Microsoft, when the power went from engineering and product teams, initially they are very engineering oriented and product oriented. Then the power went to finance and operation. The focus went from delighting clients by delivering value to managing by scorecards. I will repeat. So when Microsoft was transformed from product focus or engineering focus to become finance focus, instead of focusing on clients by delivering value, their focus is becoming managing the scorecards. Whew. Is this happening? Yes, this happens in the big company. It was not until the power and focus returned to innovation and products during the current CEO, then the company flourished again, and the mojo, the spirit of Microsoft is back again. So I don't want to mention this word, but don't run companies only by numbers. You will lose your main asset, which is your client. This is the message of the picture run by Linda Hill. So in this picture also implies that you need to have a two power in the company: the future power and the present power. The present power is the CEO who run day-to-day business, but you also need to have another CEO which think about the future. And how? Because you are busy. Join the corporate startup movement. That's just my advice. Join the startup movement. Join the startup movement. So I want to borrow this picture of using system dynamic approach. What happened is when the company growth becoming so big in the middle, the service quality consequently is threatened because you will need to hire a lot of people who are inexperienced. Staff shortages, it will create burnout of people, inadequate system. And when that happens, the growth will be less. That's the impact of the balancing effect. What about competitor? When your firm growth, don't forget you are staying in the larger complex ecosystem. The competitors will also reduce the fares, will improve the routes, and therefore the firm growth will be slower. because there is a minus sign. Why I show this picture? This is just showing that the growth is not forever. The growth is not forever. That's why a big company needs to have a smaller company. The agility, quality that they don't have anymore because they are so big.
Mm.
And how to do this? You want to democratize the innovation. I borrowed this from Professor Linda Hill. Instead of focusing on a we should or where we are now, which is normal for companies, but don't stuck in that. We want to further expand our horizon to we could and where we are, where we will be in the future. That's the answer. Opportunity gap instead of performance gap. Not only will become value creator, but also we want to become a game changer. This is the message, not to maybe not so relevant to us, but for you when you want to challenge the corporation, which you cannot because you are just an employee, for example. But when you join the M3M, also MBM I3L, then you know where your position will be. Because in the future, if the company do not go this way, they will die. Except for a company who are supported by power beyond the market. I cannot mention names. You know, Parichat, I cannot mention
Yes,
names.
yes,
Yeah.
but understood.
Yeah.
I
So,
also realized.
yeah. So now, why I show you this picture again? I like to ask myself why I show myself this picture. When a big company focus so much on delivering value without actually focusing on delivering training or creating startups or improvement, then the actual performance will be lowering down in the end. The capability will be lowering down. It will hurt and damage the large corporation. But if the large corporation is kind enough to hold, to sit, to think, and to spend time in creating corporate innovative department or corporate innovative culture, then their capability will grow in the long run. Which one you like? Of course, the answer is very obvious. We like to have the working smarter culture. With the sacrifice that in the beginning, when you start this company, when you start this movement, you will lose some income, revenue, performance, but it will help you in the long run. So, an owner of multi-billion-dollar company, actually, this was written in February, asked me why, despite doing many innovation activities, this lady CEO has not seen the result in her company. Her question reminded me of what Steve Blank says that many companies and government agencies just doing the innovation theater as a lip service. Lip service. The corporate accelerator and incubators are trying to duplicate a process that they don't quite understand. They create a series of innovation activities, but they don't create an end-to-end process that deliver products and services. So this course, corporate innovation, is very important because this will explain the overall strategy for innovation in large companies, innovation doctrines that outlines how to apply and use the innovation methods in a way that delivers rapidly and continually. Lean concept by Steve Blank or Eric Ries is very important component of a solution only, but a bigger framework and set of tools is still required. So it's very important to have not only lip service or party oriented innovation movement, but also the clear roadmap what you want to deliver in the big company. There needs to be a vision of how the incubator either delivers through existing units or turns into an independent entity. Is it very difficult for you to relate with this message? I don't think so. This is why M3M, MBM, I3L is very interesting to join because in the future it will be the corporate innovation, not startup that will be successful, not just the normal startups. I mean, please admit humbly, if you study in I3L but you only produce product jualan bungkus makanan, why? You just go and follow your mom and dad. They are good in creating that company. So this is the classical, the classical innovation model. Maybe relevant, maybe no. You have to decide your own how do you want to do the innovation model. This is just an example. I have another one that is specifically designed for my client. But the key is corporation is so big that they don't have the machine to create ideas. This is the idea. This is the why the picture is here. Corporation is so big that they focus on day-to-day KPI, quarterly, and so on. They don't have time to create ideas. They don't have the machine to create ideas. And the ideas must be big enough for them to choose and then to incubate and then to create business and scale. If they don't have the machine of ideas, then they cannot. So what you wish to have is, yeah, I mean, does it sound too theoretical? I don't want you to read this theoretical thing, but it's very important to know that you have a plan, clear articulated vision, know core and modes, competitive strategy. You want to have infrastructure, you want to have processes, you want to have people who are actually as innovative as you. And then what is important is the culture. Culture is strategy for breakfast. It's not a joke. It's very important. So creating, so this is a big company on the left. They have the core and existing business. They are very optimized and repeatable. But on the other hand, they have experienced bottlenecks on opportunities and exposures. Therefore, they wish to have an innovative solution which is validated and matured. So they think they normally will go for innovation lab or new business, which is startup like, agile and iterative. Deliver innovation to company, fast clock speed and flexibility, global network, ability to take risks. And I will, the green one is not the nature of the big company. The gray one, yes, but the green one is the nature of startups. That's why, again, coming back to the first module, the startups and the corporation will enjoy I will borrow again your word, Professor Dr. Richard, symbiotic mutualism, is it? Symbiotic mutualism. Okay.
Mutualistic symbiosis.
Okay. Mutualistic symbiosis.
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 Yes. Symbiosis.
Mutualistic symbiosis.
Yes.
So this is exactly if I can draw, this is the mutualistic symbiosis. The existing the company who run the existing business big one, and running with the startup style culture in you can call it innovation lab. Name is a name, but what's happening in there is more important, right? And sometimes there is, if you are late, the corporation is so big that sometimes they cannot follow the chains outside. And there is always this component called windows of opportunity, which is a time when your target end user, economic buyer, champion, or influencer will be particularly open to considering your offering. For example, you have your product during holiday season, end of fiscal year beginning, budgeting cycle, and so on. You don't want to miss the windows of opportunity. And then inside these windows of opportunity, there is a trigger. There is a trigger that the company needs to do. And this requires a very quick innovation mind in the big company. Either you create discount, you create a limited supply, time bounded, and so on. And who can do this? It's just a startup who can do these triggers. Because the big corporation, they will think normal routine, normal routine. An example of this is Expedia. You are looking at a flight, and then the trigger is, hey, 2 seats remaining at this price. Yes, somebody must create that 2 seats remaining at this price. Or IBM, during end of fiscal year at the utility. The trigger is, I need to schedule my people for December. So that's why they want to have the IBM. Students, for example, the students market, every beginning of the school year, provide back to school sales or giveaway. I mean, Gramedia, the big company, they know this, they always do this. But many company also do not even remember these classic guidelines. HubSpot, visiting website event, they give a free website grader for the people who visit them. And so on. An example from over there is Zoom, Peloton, Netflix, and GrabHub. They understand how technology trends are changing and then look ahead to what's next. They track changing consumer behavior patterns and the evolution of cultural norms. They build an organizational strategy that capitalizes based on understanding of what lies in the future. They are prepared to step on the gas when they see new opportunity emerging in the marketplace.
Mm.
They continually iterate to create a spiral of innovation that refines, respond to new opportunities, run data-driven experiments to test and perfect your operating assumption about future trends. So it's all about experimentation. And who can do experimentation better? Large corporation
Researchers, yeah.
or small company? Small
Small
company.
companies, yes.
Yes. But can you imagine a big corporation have this culture? Beautiful, Parichar. That's the idea of this slide. Does it matter? Again, the question. Does it matter? Yes, it matters. If you don't follow this, please tell to your mother company. It's just only a time. Success has an expiration date. And what you can do is to extend the expiration by doing innovation, fasting the clock speed, and then performing operational excellence. Only the paranoid company will succeed, not the strongest, not the most intelligent, but the one who are most responsive to change. Do we agree on this? Any doubt about this concept? I hope no, because Charles Darwin said precisely that the fundamental premise of evolution theory is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones that most responsive to change. Just because a big company is strong today, that's not what will keep you in the game for a long term. Please tell this to your mother company. You must be able to do, able and willing, enjoy and see the opportunity to change when it presents itself. So change is embedded in our life. You don't. So the last one for a company to be able to join this movement is they must be culturally ready. Founders must use their ears very efficiently. If they don't use their ears, they will be full of bias. And this is the bias that inundated founders offer optimism bias and offer confidence. This happens normally during the venture formation. As this is a picture of startups. You startups will always have over optimism, over confidence. Be aware of that. Use the ears to listen to your customers. What about the big company? Will they be affected on over optimism, over confidence? Exactly. 85% thinks they are listening, but actually only
Mm.
8%, pa. Only
Oh.
8% customers say, only 8% of them agree that they're actually listening. Yeah, I found this. I found that in this book. I found that statement in this book, Experiment Design.
Oh.
Yeah. So what a sad fact, a very sad fact.
So they don't know that they don't know.
They don't know that they don't know. Very scary. Very scary. So is it my? Oh, okay. 7 more slides. The company must have the still nerve to wait, not to kill the innovation effort too quickly, because of this needle, the needle threshold. See, if they quit too quickly, then they will not see the green color. The green
Mm.
if they kill during the blue, sorry, the lighter blue, it died on the vine. If they kill during the red, it looks success initially, but then death, die. Or if they don't follow, if they keep the threshold below the blue, dark blue, yes, it looks successful, but never reaches the critical mass and fades away. But if they have the nerve strong enough, they move the threshold of significance very much higher. Then they may reach the green dream. I don't want to confuse you with this, but companies who are so much focused on themselves, companies shall not focus so much on themselves. Instead, they want to see future as well as the present. And it's all about networking. It's all about cooperating. It's about working together with even competitor, with startups. It's no longer we are all part of the bigger ecosystem. So future and present must go and walk together. That's what I think. Um, so the conclusion is I delivered two modules today. What is the difference between startup and corporation? Why? What's in it for startup? What's in it for corporation? We explained it in the table. And then the second module, I also explained, we also learned together that not every company can do the innovation movement, unfortunately. And then, do I answer your question about family business? They are actually a very good candidate for this movement, Pak.
Yes.
Actually, we rely on them, and I hope the family business, many family business in Indonesia, they will grow. You know. So, uh, time is up for me. It's 3 o'clock.
Yes,
Thank you
but
so much for your
yeah, we
patience.
can
Yeah.
spare some minutes but to wrap up, and then
Thank you.
we can
Thank you.
there are several question and answers which we can discuss, but
Yes. Yes. Feel free if I can answer. Otherwise, we will answer together. So I will stop the sharing. Thank you so much.
okay, yeah, but now we are seeing that these two dichotomy, yeah, between what we call it in the corporation and startup, yeah, in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship, and to be a successful, especially we know that it can be standalone, yeah, and it requires what we call it a complex effort, yeah, as we see in the pictures, yeah, the pictures, the clean slate and the picture with the person, yeah, the one that you showed before. Now I would like to pick up the question and answer. Yeah, maybe I would like to address question from Susie. Yeah, but why a lot of startup fail to expand their business? For example, previously had to go glam and that, and it vanished just like that. They just disappear.
Is that the question? Okay.
Yes. Yes, I am
Okay.
assuming that Bu Susi is highlighting the condition of startup in
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Indonesia.
Yeah. That's a very very sad situation. But
Yes.
Bususi is he here now? Can he be? Can she be spotlighted?
I think she needs to be upgraded to the panelist
Oh,
level.
okay, okay, no need.
Yeah,
So, so yeah,
this is the
yeah.
webinar
Okay,
format.
maybe okay. So, Ibu Susi, thank you for the questions. Huh. So, in my class or in my previous school where I studied, only we have 24 steps. Okay, let me change my background so that you know what steps I'm talking about. We have this 24 startup. We have these 24 steps. Okay. A lot of people claim they know this model. Be it. Let them teach this. But in this model, yeah, MIT spent maybe 60% only on step 0 and step 1. We have 24 step, but this big school, the successful school who create $2.1 trillion startup economy. What is $2.1 trillion? It's the two times Indonesian GDP economy. This school focus on creating this table, this kind of table. I mentioned to you, Bu Susi, earlier on that we wish to have founders before they come up with an idea. I want to make sure he has 20 ideas, and each ideas we must make sure that each idea has 14 probable industry, 14 probable industry. So I'm trying to bring up a picture of I'm trying to bring up a picture of those slides. Yes, this one. I hope I can bring it up. So do you so that's my answer actually, but without showing the slides. So why they cannot scale? Because they don't have this concept of beachhead and the next 10 customer. They only have one product and one probable company, and they don't listen to the what do you call this, the Geoffrey Moore technology chasm theory. They don't listen to that. That they need to occupy the 68% instead of getting okay, now I found. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. So instead of focusing on the 68% majority, this startup company, they only focus on the 2.5%, and they think they already answer everything. Okay, very sad. Slideshow, and then presenter view. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this picture. Instead of focusing on the 68% market, which is this, the 68%, 34 and 34. The startups didn't even go outside their room to interview their customers. They only focus on their idea. I have an idea, and I believe this has a product. My picture behind me, there is a step 23. It's called Dog Eats the Dog Food. See, in that school, if the startups do not have anybody buying their product, then the startup must be closed or pivoted. In Indonesia, they don't care. They don't care. You have an idea, you sell, and then die. Why? There are two reasons. Number one, they don't go outside and check what the customer wants. What the customer wants. See, this is the table that I talk about. I'm going to show you in a few minutes. But this takes a lot. It takes 14 classes to. So this is an excerpt of a matrix segment of a product. So for that product, the founder must be able to draw a matrix like this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do not confuse, please, with this, because this is just an example of an exhaustive matrix that the startup in Indonesia do not make. The product called scalable. Sorry, sensible. Sorry, sensible. The product is called sensible. Sensible is in the 1995 is a technology where you go like this in the computer, you feel that you touch the computer. That's the sensible. Before they go and proceed with the prototyping, they study whose industry that will use their product. Entertainment, industrial design, and medical visualization, surgical, or microsurgery, geophysical in oil and gas, non-visual for disabled, or prototyping techniques, or the virtual reality. They study this not only to fill in on paper, but they go outside and spending time talking to hundreds and hundreds of potential market. So what they produce in the end is this type of table, very exhaustive table. And you can do this within 2 hours, but then your company will die. But the people there in my school, they do this out of 14 weeks. They do this maybe 6 weeks. Do we do this? Do you do this in your school? No. What you do is, first you need, normally people when they teach business entrepreneur, they ask students to create a business plan. They ask students to create a business canvas. What is business canvas? Value proposition, and then business model, and then cost. Come on. Where is the customer in this process? Oh yeah, but we will interview. Then do interview. Interview how many days? Months, years. So imagine this sensible company, they create this table of metrics. So when they start, they focus on the industrial design because of many reasons. Well, why they choose this? Because this answer 7 questions. The first question is, anyway, this is going to be detailed, but this will answer you. They want to make sure that that the target customer is well funded. Target customer is readily accessible to Salesforce. Target customers have compelling reason to buy. Can we as a founder deliver a whole product? Is there entrenched competition? Can you leverage this segment to enter into others? Ibu, siapa tadi namanya?
Susi.
What's her name? Huh? Susi, Ibu Susi, if this company built the segment, then they already have this answer. Can this segment leverage to enter into other segment? So there is no
Oh,
reason. If you do disciplinedly the matrix, then even if that particular segment dies, you still have another 7 or 8. So this is what I teach. This is what we teach using this a diagram behind me. So why they fail? The 2 reason or 3 reason. Number one, they don't listen to paying customers. They don't focus on what the customer want. They run and rush quickly. So they lie to themselves. They deceive themselves. They forget that there is a technological chasm. Number two, their team. I gave you the picture. Their team, 65% of the problem caused by the team. The team has a similarity, too much similarity, not complementing skills, not complementing networks. What is number three? You guess. I give room for you to answer. But
yeah.
the CBS Insight, data showing startup fail because of they don't have market. In my case, they don't have paying customer. Why they don't have paying customers? Because they never listen. They never go out to the street, to the companies. If it's B2B, they never go out to their clients to to get the answer. To get exactly what they want. Okay, I hope this answer Bu Susi, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Toro. Yeah. So, due to the limitation of time, yeah, I will only select one questions that are interesting and it may more or less represent of the current situation here. Yeah, like this. I will read the question from Joseph. How do you balance disruptive and incremental innovation in corporate environment? And I see there are a lot of idea validation biases, especially in the well-hierarchical corporate companies. Yeah, this is actually very relevant, but so that's why I'm picking this. How to better validate an idea without using a third party. Furthermore, from one of the slides, a first mover is disadvantageous, especially in disruptive innovation. Is it better to wait for the competitors while risking the first mover advantage?
So there are 4 questions. You remind me one by one. So first, I will answer question number one.
Yes.
Yeah, question number one, please. What is
Yes.
this?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. How do you balance the disruptive and incremental innovation in corporate environment?
Okay. So I believe this guy, whoever this is, already he must be familiar with Clayton Christensen framework. Disruptive innovation, efficiency innovation, and sustaining innovation. So if I can ask him back, the suggestion from Clayton Christensen is people to go into disruptive innovation. But why, according to him, people don't go there? Why? If he can talk, I want to ask this, and he better answer my question. Why? If he already read the Clayton Christensen book, then he must be able to answer this question. But for the sake of entertainment, I will show him this, because sometimes people ask, and by the way, I learned from Clayton Christensen. So for the sake of entertainment, I will help him with this picture. Okay. So, according to Professor Clayton Christensen, okay, according to him, where is my PowerPoint? According to him, okay, according to him, disruptive innovation must use capital, okay, must use capital. They must use capital. And they must create jobs. Sustaining innovation, they create little jobs, they use little capital. In efficiency, they free capital, they eliminate jobs. Okay. So my question is, if the ideal situation is you want to create this, you want to go here. This is the ideal situation, by the way, this picture. You want to do this all together, 3 all together. But unfortunately, in the business school, there is a called Gilder input. Inputs are plentiful and cheap, but it can be used abundantly and without account. Meaning, there is a business Bible that encouraging return on investment on everything. So putting a lot of money into disruptive innovation is against this new this finance doctrine. This is the finance doctrine. So putting money into disruptions is against the KPI, RONA, EVA, gross margin. Putting money into disruptive innovation will kill the KPI of CEO. Right? Siapa tadi namanya? Joshua.
Joseph, Pak.
Joseph. That's why only, this is my guess, CEO who own the company, who are willing to actually spend money for disruption because it is his money. But if the CEO is just an employee of a company, unless he gets full support by the board, for example, HCL Technology, ini contohnya, or Adobe, and Adobe, the board allows the CEO to lose money for 5, 6, 7 years because knowing in the future the disruptive innovation will be paid off. So the balance is that they must always focus on disruptive innovation. Unfortunately, the doctrine doesn't allow the CEO of an employed CEO do so. That's why my model, if you listen carefully, only allow CEO who own the company and CEO who is innovative, who can do this business. This is my study, my own study. Now, what is the number 2 questions?
Yes. I see there's a lot of idea validation biases, especially in a well-hierarchical corporate company.
Yeah.
How to better validate in an idea without using a third party?
Yeah, of course, using third party is already damaging the process. It defeats the process. Why? It is your product. Why you hire people to validate your product? Startups do not hire third party to validate their product. The startups, the founders validate themselves through the market, not by the third party. The third party create the bias. That's why only corporation who are innovative enough, they know that the performance engine structure cannot be used for the innovation model. So that's the answer for you, Joseph. Forget about those hierarchical. If you want to be innovative, forget about hierarchy. There is no budget for innovation. Don't use a smart subject matter expert. No. The best expert for your product is your customer. The key, forget about, establish a new department calling innovation department, different salary, different CEO, different speed, different model, different time, different KPI, totally different. But this new business, this new innovative task force is linked together with a shared resources. And you can study this from Professor Finjai's theory called performance engine. Okay, that's number 2 question. I hope I entertain him. What
Yes,
is
I
next?
think this is the last one, Pak. From one of your slides, a first mover is disadvantageous, especially in the disruptive innovations. Is it better to wait for the competitors who are risking the first mover advantage?
Oh, yeah. It depends on what your strategy. It depends on what your strategy. If your strategy is you want to focus on the niche and expensive buyer, then you cannot wait. Schlumberger, I used to work for Schlumberger. They keep introducing new product that suits expensive customer. They cannot wait to become the second follower. They cannot be follower. They have to start. And must any company follow that route? No. It depends on their culture and vision. Depends on their strategy. If they go for a low cost strategy, they cannot do this. But if they go for a niche and a niche product and niche customer, then they have to be the leader at all costs. Why? Because the 2.5% of their target market will bring them the result. Because they are niche, they will pay expensively. And who is the customer? Exactly. The customer is the early adapter. Schlumberger customer is early adapter. They don't mind paying expensive stuff. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Schlumberger, you read in the book, in the Google, Schlumberger, what they are doing. They are always number one in introducing a new oil and gas services equipment and services. And after that, people follow them, follow their tool, follow their products. No problem, because the theory is after 40%, you occupy market share, the rest is profit. And for innovative company, they don't worry about competition. Okay, what is this? Oh, no good. Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Due to the time constraint, yeah, there will be a lot of interesting questions that we can discuss about. Yeah. But now we know about this corporate innovation, entrepreneurial mindset, right? And how at least all the participants here know, right? A startup and corporation are the keyword for today, Pak, mutualistic symbiosis. But yeah, and yes, and then also that for them, yeah, innovation also takes effort on both, whether you are in well-established corporations or when you are startups. Yeah, just like what your pictures is clearly showing. Yeah, there are no easy way to draw, whether they are on the clean slate or on the other canvas who have the sketch already. Both have their advantage, disadvantage, difficulties as well. Yeah, so I hope all the participants here will be satisfied. Will gain a lot of insight from Pak Toro's wise advice, insights, lessons. Yeah, even I learn myself. Yeah, because I am usually like a pure scientist, Pak. So I am still along the way of learning all of this, Pak.
Yeah.
And we really need to have these lessons here, especially for our younger generations, right? To bring up this new culture, and especially for maybe among the participants or who the recording will address to. Yeah, whether you are on
Can I have three more
the
minutes? 3 more minutes? Is it
oh
okay? 3 more minutes? Okay, I will answer.
yes.
How to make sure CEO accept innovation idea from the employee? No, you cannot push your CEO. If the CEO is innovative, they will listen. If the CEO is innovative, he will not listen. That's the answer. So yeah. So then, why Siemens gone from the market same as Nokia? The answer was there. They don't follow. They don't listen to the market. They are too late. They are. And then number three, is there company innovation but the output not same as our expectation? Yes, that's why experimentation is more important than the product. And a big company cannot do quick experimentation. Only startup style can do. Oh, Joseph already I answer. I'm currently doing research in Indonesia. Do you think this is natural life science? Because of this, I don't understand this. I'm sorry. Because it's better for them to have corporation helping them, or they're going to no. Forget about going independent. You're in the life science business, too expensive. You have to find a strategic partner from day one. Nga Njiayu Aisha. Miftahul Jana. Beachhead. Yes, you need to call me. Connect me in my LinkedIn. But it's a paid course, okay? Beachhead is very important. Alicia Willie, thank you for your questions. The answer is, what is the most important one? The most important one is stage one. The stage one comprises of 24 steps, and these 24 steps, the most important one is step one. You need to create 20 ideas. Do not start with only one. 20 ideas, brainstorm, and then each idea must have a 14 possible industries. Can you do that? Makasih loh Pak, 3 menit.
Yeah, I mean, like, you address that quite effectively. Yeah, I hope that all the participants are satisfied. Yeah, so yeah, here we will be on the conclusion that we'll like to conclude the sessions. Yeah, thank you very much, Pak Toro. Yeah, for everyone. Yeah, welcome, Pak Toro. Yeah. Yeah, please look forward for the MBM webinar. Yeah, Pak Toro may also come again in the future, but we are still hearing the tip of the iceberg. But actually, there are a lot more insight that you can share. Yeah, but unfortunately, our time are limited. But of course, you can have a lot of things to share with the participants over here. Yeah, but once again, I would like to be very grateful and say thank you. And we are very honored to have you here. Yeah, but hopefully you will come, visit us and teach us about your insight. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Shall
Yeah,
I
I will.
dismiss? I will go now. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
sure. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Pak
Bye. Thank
Toro.
you. See you
Yeah.
next month. I believe I will meet you again next month in the
Yes,
webinar.
Pak.
Yeah.
Next month, Pak. For
Yeah.
the
Bye,
webinar.
Azalia. Bye, everybody. Bye, Dr.
Yeah.
Bye,
Richard. Bye,
Pa. Thank you
Yeah.
so
Gabriel.
Bye, Pak
much.
Toro. Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Pak.